Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and let's talk a little bit about XRP price and what's going on with the crypto markets, because multiple analysts that I follow are saying, look, this is the beginning of the most intense crypto bull run in history. And it's interesting seeing people dispute, in terms of XRP, what price levels are reasonable targets. You know, and I'm at a point where I'll tell you, I'd be surprised, and there's no way to know for sure what's going to happen in terms of price. I'm always happy to acknowledge that, but I'd be surprised if at a bare minimum, XRP did not reach $10. I would be very surprised. And I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm not so bold because, look, I'm not a chart analyst. But I still will sort of make my case within this video as to why I feel that. But it's just fascinating to see how price expectations are kind of all over the place. But one thing that I do see analysts agree on regardless is that wherever XRP goes, and really, frankly, the rest of the altcoins, in terms of price action, it's heavily dependent upon Bitcoin. So I want to talk about that, this idea of perhaps a quote-unquote like super cycle for Bitcoin, which... Like, I'm not sold on the idea. I would love for it to be true, you know, because you'll see here. Actually, I'll just pull up the headline here. This is a piece from the Daily Huddle. On-chain metrics suggest Bitcoin bull run has barely begun, says crypto trader Elliot Weinman. And so, if it hasn't even really heated up yet, then my gosh, the targets for XRP, if what this guy says are correct, none of us are thinking big enough. so again, you know, I'm not sold on the idea necessarily. I would love for it to be true, but so much is dependent upon what happens with Bitcoin. So plenty to talk about in this video. But before I go any further, I do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and crypto, and that is all it is. I just want to be fully transparent so that somebody doesn't think I'm someone or something that I'm not. I'm no more special than you. Although, no, don't take me wrong. You're very special. Special snowflake. As I record this, XRP is at $1.43. Bitcoin, $53,550, market cap for the asset class, $2.11 trillion, and I do like seeing this next one, Bitcoin dominance continuing to slide. It's down to 47.27%, and that's not because I want Bitcoin to do poorly, and it's not doing poorly, frankly. It's really just more so that altcoins are outperforming it, and so you see the Bitcoin dominance drop. Which I'll talk about a little bit more in this video coming here. Oh, by the way, the Spark token at $2.01 as I record this. And did you guys know that its recent all-time high, maybe I saw this and like it didn't register because I stare at this chart like every day for at least a few moments at a minimum. The Spark token IOU hit $2.45, and that was back on, what was this? The 20th of April. So maybe I reported that and I actually have legitimately forgot, but I saw that today. I was like, wait a minute. It got that high. I remember seeing up around $2.30. I don't know. Maybe like I'm missing memories and there's something functionally wrong with my little Moon Lambeau brain, but I don't recall seeing that. I just thought I'd mention it. Now here was a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber, the Blockchain Backer. A surge to $10 for XRP price chart gets a stronger argument with new data. And so I watched his video on this today, and so a few things on this. He did an excellent job articulating his case as to why he believes that it's very likely that you're going to see XRP go to anywhere from $10 to $13. He also acknowledged that his prediction is it's not nearly as bullish, let's say, as many others out there, and that's fine. You know, this is not a critique. He may very well be right. I'd still look. I'd call that a win. XRP going to $10 this market cycle. Yes, that is a freaking win. I will take that if that's what we get. Perfectly fine. And then you know, we'll have a bear market, and then I'll you know, participate there too. I'll prep for the next bull run, and who knows what it would look like next market cycle. So I'd still be perfectly fine with that. And so again, I'm not going to go through all the technicals. If you want the specifics from a technical perspective as to why the Blockchain Backer believes what he believes. This is probably the greatest level of detail that I've seen in one single video, just off the top of my head that I can recall. I mean, he's defended the position a number of times, but he really went into great detail. So if you're curious about the actual technicals of it, check out his video here. But I got to tell you, so not everybody thinks that. And there's another chart analyst who I've highlighted on the channel before. His name is Wooston. And he does not agree. And so I want to share an alternative perspective, though I will tell you, I was a bit disappointed with the tone. It came off to me as a little bit rude. And frankly, the blockchain backer, I'm sure that so many of you that subscribe to my channel also subscribe to the blockchain backer. There's a lot of audience crossover. And I'd say deservedly so, because like the blockchain backer, I don't know if you guys realize this, he has the largest XRP YouTube channel on the planet. The entire planet. What's he got now? Like 142,000 subscribers or something like that. Or maybe it's even higher than that now. And well deserved. And so how does that come to be? Well, I think it's because people are obviously getting a lot of value of, as far as what he's putting out there. They enjoy his content. And I think it's also because clearly he's had a ton of correct calls for a very long time. And when we're talking about chart analysis, it's about probability of outcomes, not some sort of crystal ball, like the XRP's price will be so-and-so on exactly this date and time. That's not how this works. But in terms of probability of outcomes, it's just been very impressive. And so he's one of the analysts that I'm happy to regularly cover on my channel as a result. He's one of many. And there are lots of other analysts that do a great job too, but my gosh, I'm just saying his following's deserved. And so seeing this was a little bit disappointed, even though I do love diversity of thought. Totally cool with diversity of thought. And even the blockchain backer, I mean, just to make sure that we're fairly stating what he has made publicly clear, he acknowledges that XRP could go higher. He wants XRP to go higher, but it would be dependent upon the other factors. Like, for instance, can you imagine XRP going to like $100 or $55 or whatever if Bitcoin has already seen its high? Like, do we really think that's going to happen? Because I'm going to break down some numbers for you actually in terms of what market caps would look like and why this is potentially problematic. Well, at least for the perspective that Wooston here has, chart analyst Wooston. So what he did was he took a screen grab of the blockchain backer's most recent video here, which was, what do you write here? A surge to $10 for the Ripple XRP price chart gets a stronger argument with new data. So that's the tweet, and I believe it's also the YouTube video title. I think it is anyway. And so Wooston shared that, and then he wrote the following. This is what happens with people who are clueless about Elliott waves and Fibonacci. Well, I'll tell you what, actually, let me pause right there. I'm clueless about Elliott waves and Fibonacci. As far as I'm concerned, a Fibonacci is a fine Italian restaurant. I don't know what the hell it is. I don't care. I'm not a chart analyst. I don't want to learn how to do it. Seriously. But I enjoy researching fundamentals and tracking the news and seeing what all sorts of analysts have to say, which is why putting these price videos together is pretty fun, just sharing opinions in one video from a ton of different analysts, because I don't see anybody else doing that. But anyway, Wooston then wrote the following. It's not going to wave 5. We are in the early stages of wave 1. His wave 5, he's referencing the blockchain backer here, his wave 5 should be followed by a strong correction based on the noob target of $10 to $13. When people wake up, it will be late. So he's calling the blockchain backer clueless and a noob, which, look, I like diversity of thought. I think we could have done without that. But he thinks that since he's being critical here, it's worth talking about this. And there are people that like him that do think XRP is going to go much higher. He does. And I would love for that to be true. The blockchain backer would love for that to be true. And so somebody named Zach responded to this tweet and wrote, $10 is pennies to where XRP is going. Wave 5 is going to be like 3 digits. To which chart analyst Wooston responded, at least. Well, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing that. So let's talk about what that might look like. Because mind you, he said 3 digits here. Wooston agrees, at least. That means a minimum of $100. That's the first 3-digit number for XRP. This cycle, $100 for XRP. I want it to be true too. I'm not convinced of it. I would love for it to be true. And I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying I'm not yet convinced based on the data that's been presented to me. That's all that I mean by that. But think about this. Last market cycle, Bitcoin ran up to about $20,000. Which means it had a max market cap, and I'm using rough numbers here, so I know this isn't exactly precise, I just want to acknowledge that, but that means the market cap for Bitcoin last market cycle got up to somewhere in the neighborhood of $370 billion. Okay, $370 billion market cap at $20,000 Bitcoin. XRP at close to $4 last market cycle had a max market cap of roughly $180 billion. So at XRP's peak, compared to Bitcoin's peak, the market cap for XRP was less than half of what Bitcoin's was. Now, I tell you what, this like these markets rhyme with, you know, like from cycle to cycle. Like I will not be surprised to see something similar in terms of proportionality this market cycle. And I don't know for sure, maybe XRP in terms of the proportionality, maybe it does run up higher. I'm not sure, but let's just say that it plays out like last market cycle. Well, let's take a look at some of these numbers here, because without Bitcoin going meteoric, I don't see how XRP is going to hit this, unless you really think that an altcoin, XRP, or any other altcoin is going to surpass this market cycle, Bitcoin's market cap. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. And mind you, XRP is my favorite coin. It's my largest holding. I don't think that's going to happen this market cycle, because it looks like people are behaving the same as last market cycle. And so what happens is money first flows into Bitcoin, and then when people want to take profit, they'll put that profit into other cryptocurrencies, altcoins, that haven't yet popped. And it doesn't all go into one coin, it goes into a bunch of others. And so as a result, there's no way that there's enough money, given that it's going to be pretty well distributed, there's no way that there's enough money for any altcoin to reach what Bitcoin's market cap is going to be at its high for this market cycle. I just don't believe it's going to happen. Happy to be proven wrong. If it happens, cool, super. You know I want a high XRP price. I just don't think it's going to happen like that. I think Bitcoin will be number one in market cap for the entirety of this market cycle. And I think that's a reasonable position. And that's okay if you disagree. That's where I'm coming from here. But consider this. For XRP to hit this 3-digit level that Wooston's talking about here, this $100 level, that would mean that XRP would have a market cap of $4.5 trillion. Now look, there's enough money on the planet for XRP at some point in the future to have a market, if it's going to have true long-term viability, which is an if, but I think it could. There's enough money on the planet, I believe, for XRP to hit that price level, because people are bidding it up. Understand, if it has a market cap of 4.5 trillion, that does not mean that 4.5 trillion dollars went into it. Nowhere near that. In fact, it would just be a fraction of that. But people bid up the price quickly, so not 4.5 trillion dollars going into it. So that's possible. I'd be shocked if it happened, and very happy if it happened this market cycle. If I had to make a for fun guess right now, I'd say no, it's not. But look, none of this is financial advice. I'm just sharing with you my for fun opinions. So, don't buy, again, to be clear, do not buy or sell because of this. But look at where we are right now. Bitcoin, and I don't know exactly how high it's going to go this market cycle, but it has a little over a $1 trillion market cap right now, right? And so think about this. If you're talking about Bitcoin having about the same market cap as a $100 XRP, Bitcoin would need to go to about $250,000. At $250,000, the market cap would be about, for my closest calculation here, which I did before recording this video, would be $4.625 trillion. $4.625 trillion market cap just for Bitcoin. So if XRP is going to hit that $100 mark, that would be it matching Bitcoin's price level or market cap. And so, I don't think that's going to happen, because, again, money goes into Bitcoin first, and then it splinters off into a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, which is why you didn't see XRP's market cap get anywhere near what Bitcoin's was last market cycle. I think you're going to see something like that again. So if you think that you're going to see a $100 XRP this market cycle, and let's say that XRP's market cap ends up being about half of what it was last market cycle, well, what would it have to be? I mean, you're talking about Bitcoin would have to go to about $500,000 it would then have a $9.25 trillion market cap at $500,000. And then XRP, if it were going to have about half of that market cap, then you'd be looking at about $100 XRP. Yeah. So, I mean, if Bitcoin does that, okay, well, then it doesn't sound as wacky to me. Is Bitcoin going to do that? Because that's what I'm not as sold on. I would love for it to happen. I'm long Bitcoin. I think it's going to do better than it's doing today, this market cycle. I don't know how high it's going to go. But a lot of people, like the blockchain backer, for example, say that you're probably going to see Bitcoin top off around, maybe on the high end, $80,000, not $500,000. Okay? So it's I don't know. That's a tall, or you're asking for a lot for something like that to happen. Now, when you're talking about a $10 XRP, though, well, here's why I think this is perfectly reasonable. You're already seeing, again, for Bitcoin, over $1 trillion in market cap right now. And Bitcoin's been higher than it is today. So it's already over $1 trillion. At $10, XRP would only have a $450 billion market cap. That's less than half of what Bitcoin is at right now. And I don't think Bitcoin's done running. So when blockchain backers talking about this level of $10 to $13 for XRP, it seems perfectly reasonable. And he articulated a ton of reasons in addition to what he didn't cite what I'm citing here. This is one of the ways that I'm approaching this. But, that doesn't sound the least bit wacky. But yes, of course, fine. If you're talking about a way higher Bitcoin price this market cycle, which, again, I'm not convinced of, would love to see, that changes the scenario here. Now, if you're talking about XRP at $20, then you're talking about $900 billion market cap. So unless Bitcoin does go a bit higher this market cycle, it's hard for me to see XRP hitting that level. But it could, though. I mean, if you're talking about an $80,000 to $100,000 Bitcoin this market cycle, which doesn't sound nuts to me, if that happens, yeah, you could still potentially, I don't know if it'll happen, but you might see a $20 XRP this market cycle. But if you want price levels higher than that, my gosh, you really need to see Bitcoin run, or else I'd just be very surprised. Because I see people behaving the same as they did last market cycle. I'm trying to not overthink this stuff here. And so that's what it looks like to me. Now, either way, I'd still be thrilled with it. Whatever happens in terms of price action, be absolutely thrilled with it here. And where we're at right now, mind you, what Blockchain Backer even yesterday was talking about, and many others that I highlighted, seems to be happening to this point. There seems to be a lot of consolidation, sideways trading. There's levels of resistance that Bitcoin's hitting, as cited by Lub Crypto here. He cited even just yesterday rejection at key resistance for Bitcoin, and that was around somewhere around $54,000. And then today, this afternoon, what's today, the 29th then, right? This afternoon, Lub Crypto said, rejection confirmed. Alt rallies delayed, not for long though, in my opinion, which is frankly pretty similar to what the blockchain backers say. A little bit of consolidation, a little bit of sidewaysness, but the true mania, the euphoric phase of this crypto bull market, it's about here. So according to many of these analysts, we'll see if they're right, but I mean, it's like knocking on the door, ready to come on in and get to party time. It wants to come on in and just like slam a bunch of beers and do some beer bongs. It just wants to party and have a good time. We're about there. And as far as XRP specifically, there is a bullish chart formation cited here also. There's an analyst named Murphy who pointed it out, and Lub Crypto agreed with this and tagged him as a result to give him credit. And so this is a picture of it here. So I'm not pretending to be a chart analyst, but I do know that an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is what you're seeing on the screen here, that is a bullish pattern. So, hey, whenever it breaks, I'll get things in time. If we're going to be trading sideways the next few days, fine, but get ready for however long it takes, even if it's longer, whatever. Get ready for blast off, which is what DIY Investing was talking about. I was watching a video of his today, and he fully anticipates that, he was talking about XRP too, it's going to just blast off, but he anticipates that in terms of Bitcoin dominance, he thinks it's going to get down to 10 to 20% this market cycle, which would be, as far as I'm concerned, awesome, because that would mean that altcoins are taking off like crazy. And so somebody would get pulled out of Bitcoin, and then after it's already seen its high, there will be alts pumping after Bitcoin hits its cycle high for this cycle. I suspect that's what happened last time. I'd be willing to bet for fun that would happen again. So some will pop before Bitcoin's all-time high for this cycle. Well, certainly Dogecoin already has, right? It seemed to kick off the party, right? But last market cycle we did see. We saw Bitcoin dominance get down to the lowest I remember seeing was like 35%. So if you're talking about 10 to 20, that would really be something, wouldn't mind seeing it here. Now, as far as this idea of the super cycle, let me touch on this a little bit. And again, would love to see this. I'm not sold on the idea. This is something that even Blockchain Backer has talked about. He says he'd love to see it. Not convinced it's going to happen, but here you go. Crypto trader and influencer Elliot Weinman is sharing his thoughts on Bitcoin's price potential, asserting that the asset is nowhere near its bull cycle top. Weinman says on-chain metrics reveal that Bitcoin is just catching hold of its true bullish momentum after recently staging a recovery from early March lows. The cryptocurrency analyst predicts that the flagship digital asset could reach a price of $1 million per coin once the Bitcoin super cycle really kicks off. Guys, I am not convinced of that. I love it. But understand, you're talking about a market cap at $1 million of Bitcoin of $18.5 trillion. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen in the future. There's enough money on the planet for the price of Bitcoin to get bid up so that it reaches that. But this market cycle, something's very fundamentally going to have to change if this happens. Just be cautious, because there were people at the height of Bitcoin's price last market cycle when it got to $20,000. There were no shortage of people that were just citing endless bullish predictions from there, how we were going to have a multi-trillion-dollar asset class, in the calendar year 2018. And in early 2018, that's when the market just completely tanked. I mean, the bubble popped, it was done, and then Bitcoin hit its bottom after that in December 2018 of, what was it, like $3,300, something like that. So just be careful. At the very peak of this cycle, whenever it happens, there will still be people saying that it's going to go off. So you just be cautious. You decide what you believe, because I don't pretend to know where all this is going to go. It's just an interesting topic of conversation. But there's going to be right people and there's going to be wrong people. And so for me, what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for specific dollar targets for XRP specifically, or a specific timeline. I want to see a chart formation that looks kind of like last time. That's basically in a nutshell what I'm looking for. To me, that's more meaningful than trying to hit specific price targets or trying to guess what the timeline looks like. But anyway, check this out. So here's a quote. As we enter into May of 2021, which many people feel like might be towards the end of this bull run, I can't help but feel like we're out on the brink of really crossing the chasm into a Bitcoin super cycle that would not only bring in hundreds of millions, if not billions of users into crypto, but would most likely send Bitcoin to astronomically new highs of hundreds of thousands, maybe even close to that hallowed ground of a $1 million Bitcoin. Like, I gotta tell you, certainly no offense to this individual, but that seems like pie in the sky stuff for this market cycle. Not saying it can't happen at some point in the future. I would love for it to happen. I'm a Bitcoin holder, like I keep saying. Not sold on the idea. Really not sold on the idea at all here. So you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Where do you think XRP price action is going to go this market cycle? Do you think that it's that I'm kind of approaching this the right way, in the sense that it's going to be contingent upon what happens with the price action of Bitcoin? And if so, where do you think the price of Bitcoin's going this market cycle? That's the $1 million question. But I'll wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Nambo.